Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM. We are live on myjoyonline.com, live in all 16 regions. We are on Radio Max in Takra, the ATL FM in Cape Coast, Gangai FM in Jirapa, and Sun City Radio in Keta. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Soul is always a delightful experience. This afternoon, number of Ghanaians seeking to enter the United States of America shoots up by 300%. The embassy in Accra says the high numbers outstrip available resources to process visa applications speedily.
And that's why, as I said, that's why we've brought in more resources to doing interviews. Unfortunately, the demand is outstripping even the increased resources we've had.
We also have details about suspension of new applications for 10 days this month. Now, the Ghana Medical Association also describes as alarming the increasing number of practitioners leaving the country as they say well-experienced specialists are now joining the list, leaving huge gaps in the sector.
In the past, we used to lose 5 young people, but we have just started work. Now we are losing kidney specialists. We are leaving. Consultants are leaving.
We have more as they call for the economy to be fixed to forestall further brain drain. Also, Trade Ministry discloses lease process for a 20-year lease of Comenda sugar factory to Indian companies almost completed in a major move to revive operations after an 8-year redundancy.
I think the provisional feedback I'm getting from them is that they are happy with the maintenance government, MEP government is put into this place. I suspect that anytime within the next few days, they will come to my office for us to put our signatures.
We have the very latest on that in sports.
Ghana's Olympic Games journey in high jump comes to an end as Rosie Abua was unsuccessful in qualifying for the final.
And Narcotics Commission alarmed by growing abuse of nitrous oxide inflated balloons.
They can give you heart attack or continuous use. You develop anemia. They also cause nerve damage.
We have details about laughing gas and also Nigerians in the streets for a second day of the 10-day protest, bad governance, cost of living and high inflation. Details of that and more here on the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on for details. Many thanks for your company. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. And this afternoon, the United States Embassy here in Accra says the number of Ghanaians seeking to enter America has shot up significantly and is even outstripping available resources to process visa applications speedily. Although the U.S. mission concedes the movement of people between the two nations will enhance its people-to-people relations with Ghana, there is an emerging constraint where the demand for U.S. visas has tripled since 2019. Hence creating the backlog we are witnessing. The remarks are coming at a time when the U.S. Embassy plans to migrate all visa application onto a new system starting August 16. In view of this, no new visa application will be made until the 26th of August when the new framework is ready. Head of our Diplomatic Affairs Desk, Blessed Soga, is returning from a roundtable with the American Consul General in Accra with details on this. Blessed, a number of questions that many of us have.
Indeed.
But first, what is accounting for this change in the U.S. visa system?
Well, so the U.S. Embassy in Accra is indicating to us that this has nothing to do with new requirements or any change in law. It's simply a case of a change in contract or contractual agreements between the United States government and the service provider for those who provide services for scheduling the dates for the U.S. Embassy appointments. Is the reason for which we're seeing this drastic shift, of course, to try and change the system entirely between the period August 16 and August 26. And by August 26, we'll have completely new interface, which would then serve the Ghanaian and, for that matter, any individual around the world seeking to, get an appointment to any of the U.S. embassies or consuls across the world.
Okay, so this new interface you talk about, is it going to come with new prices? Is it going to affect interviews? What exactly is going to happen?
For interviews that will happen, on or before the August 16, the indication from the United States Embassy is that all non-immigrant visa applications for that period, appointments for that period, remain unchanged, except to say that there will be no new charges or no new fees that will accrue as a result of this change in the interface or the new system that is being run. That will be up by August 26, according to the timeline that was given today at that roundtable. So no new fees, except to say that the period where you have a complete shutdown between August 16 and August 26, you're being advised, if you have any appointments or engagements on or before August 16, to do so within the framework before the system shuts down. Else, you would have to come completely new after the August 26 interface. Yes.
We know there's always a lot of interest in visas, and especially in our non-immigrant visa system. And we want to make sure that our visa applicants and the Ghanaian public generally is aware of this change and what they may need to do, if anything. The most important point to make is that we are going to be moving to a new visa services provider on August 26, 2024. However, and this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say today, all existing non-immigrant visa interview appointments remain valid. That means that if you currently have a visa interview scheduled with the U.S. Embassy, it is still valid, and you should plan on attending the appointment on the interview on the day of the appointment. The first thing is that on August 16th, the old appointment system website will no longer be accessible for changes. What that means is that starting on the morning of August 16th, you will no longer be able to schedule new appointments. You will not be able to make visa fee payments, and customer service will not be accessible. In addition, if you have made a request for an emergency or expedited appointment and have not received a response by August 16th, you will need to resubmit your request in the new scheduling system on or after August 26th. So, as I said, this is important. During the period between August 16th and August 26th, you will not be able to make new visa appointments, and you will not be able to cancel or reschedule any existing appointments. But if you have an appointment already scheduled during that time, it is still valid. We will still interview you, and you should still come to the embassy for your appointment.
Well, Emefa, so that's the voice of Elliot Fitek, who's the American Consul General in Accra, of course, addressing the roundtable today and explaining a raft of issues. So many questions, I believe, still emerging out of that. Let me
bring this one in. I know you travel a lot. So between August 16th and 26th, if anything comes up and you have to go to America, what then happens?
And that's the caveat the U.S. Embassy in Accra is giving, that this is not a completely new requirement for their visa regime. Every protocol remains standing, which includes the emergency window that anyone could take advantage of if they want to travel to the United States. They are encouraging persons to try and take advantage of that window between it's advisable that you do that on or before August 16 because the system would completely shut down. But then there are some other options, including the emergency window, which you could still take advantage of and get more info at the gh.usembassy.org website when you go there to see what kind of options will be available in terms of the emergency window.
And they've been talking about the number of applications that has tripled since 2019. Has it got anything to do with the change in this new visa system?
No clear indication as to any connections to this new system. All they are telling us is that the numbers have more than tripled, I should say. That's like 300% in terms of increment since 2019. The U.S. Embassy in Accra would not give reasons or the exact numbers as to how the type of inflows and what's influencing this. They say that it is largely driven from the demand side. They've tried as much as possible, according to the U.S. Embassy, to show up resources to process all of these visas. But as we speak, the demand is still outstripping that resource that's been made available. So that's becoming a challenge for them, and they believe that this new interface they'll have, although it has nothing to do with the demand system, they would still, of course, open up to more Ghanaians.
They'll be able to accommodate more visa applications.
Hopefully, because it has nothing to do with the numbers, but they're hoping that, of course, the people-to-people ties between people of America and Ghana will remain, and they're hoping that things will improve. Basically, that's been the position of the U.S. Embassy on this.
Well, in a certain sense, the demand is a very, very flattering for the United States. I mean, a lot of Ghanaians want to go to the United States to visit temporarily. And, we're seeing it's not just non-immigrant visas. On the immigrant visa side, diversity visa, again, the numbers are through the roof. We want to encourage as much legitimate travel between the United States and Ghana as we can. It is incredibly important to us. We want to encourage qualified students to study in the United States. And that's why, as I said, that's why we've brought in more resources to doing interviews. Unfortunately, the demand is outstripping even the increased resources we've had. And we're going to continue to increasing our resources, looking at ways to be more efficient, encouraging people to use systems like, getting renewal, the interview waiver process when they qualify. And again, I would just say that this new visa appointment system is not really connected one way or the other with the demand. The demand is what drives the long wait times. So if you're renewing your visa, I would highly encourage you to look at our website and see if you're eligible for our visa waiver, our interview waiver program. The second thing is that we do have a process for asking for expedited appointments. I will, in emergency cases, for things like urgent medical travel, unexpected and urgent business travel, and for students who are not able to apply, have not been able to get an appointment within 60 days of their start date in the United States. For the expedited appointments, I should say right now, the bar to getting the bar to getting an appointment is very, very high. We have a very limited number of these kinds of cases, of these kinds of appointments, and that means we only can take the most urgent of cases, but that process does exist.
That's the American Consul General in Ghana, Elliot Fertig, there speaking at a roundtable, also talking about the numbers in terms of visa applications from Ghanaians that has shot up between 2019 up until now by 300%. Now let's focus on the Ghana Medical Association, because this afternoon they are describing as alarming the level of brain drain in the medical sector. According to President of the association, Dr. Frank Srebo, the medical sector is now losing more experienced specialists to brain drain. He's been speaking at the annual general meeting of the Society of Private Medical and Dental Practitioners. Thankfully, Dr. Frank Srebo joins us on the line. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. Some time ago, we were told that some measures had been put in place to stem the tide. Did it not work?
Good afternoon. No, is it still morning? Good morning.
It's still afternoon.
Yeah, okay. It's good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers. I believe the measures that were put in place essentially address only one factor. And that is to do with the fact that we thought we were losing doctors because there was no accessibility to further training. And as such, with the Ghana College of Surgeons and Physicians in place, it was going to be addressed. But we forgot about one crucial factor, and that is the economics. And so basically what is happening is that even though the college is in place, we do still have people who have been trained and specialized, and they are leaving simply because of the fact that they look at their pockets. And so that is one crucial aspect that we have actually not been able to resolve. I made mention of the fact that it's also important for us to address this issue of the depreciating cedi, because essentially what happens is that it actually affects everybody's purchasing power. And that brings a big strain on all of us. And so people who have avenues to leave, especially doctors and nurses, they will leave. We also have people who stay at home for too long. Doctors, nurses, because of the fact that financial clearance is not forthcoming. What happens is that as they stay at home, they begin to write these foreign exams, the USMLEs and other NCLEX and so forth. And once they are done, even after employment, these people are already set on the path to leave. So if we have to address this issue, we need to address it holistically. And that would include looking at the broader picture of our country's economics and ensuring that our economy is stable, so that our purchasing power is also stable. And of course, I think I have made this fact several times on several radio stations and media houses, and I've indicated that I was better paid as a house officer than as a senior specialist. So, because when I was a house officer, my salary was more than $2,000. Now, as a senior specialist, I don't get $2,000.
How much do you get now?
That tells you, I say I don't get $2,000. So you can really do the calculation yourself. And this is as a senior specialist. And yet, when I was a house officer, I was making more than $2,000. So it tells you the dire situation in which we find ourselves in. And it is because of the cost depreciation of our currency. And then the depreciation of our economic conditions. So we can solve all the other issues. We can look at training and so forth, but if we don't tackle the broader picture, it's just going to be like fetching water into a bath. We continue to lose our doctors and nurses. The
criticism mostly is that it's not only doctors and nurses that are affected by the depreciating cedi, the high cost of living, amongst others. We've heard government say that it is a situation that is being fixed. You have a higher calling. Don't we look at that instead?
Well, I think that I am in the health sector. I am a president of the Ghana Medical Association. I can only look at what is affecting our health sector. And of course, if we look at our current system, one of the key important sectors that we can never ignore is the health sector. Because without health, we have no wealth. And all the other sectors are important. Yes, education, very, very important. Because without education, there is no way we can even have doctors, we can even have nurses. Very crucial. All the health sectors are important, but as it is, the question is, there are some sectors probably there are no avenues for people to live. There are some who are living silently, which is like a silent pandemic, which we have probably not even identified. And we wake up one day to realize that we are in a disaster. So maybe we have to look at it from a broader perspective and look at all the sectors across board. And see if it's only the health sector or if it goes beyond the health sector. And I dare say it goes beyond the health sector.
Dr. Sribo, are you able? Okay, are you able to give us numbers as at the last count? What does it look like? How serious is the situation?
At the last count, I think that for some of our junior doctors, we had about 50% of those who have qualified who are left. And the senior specialists and specialists, I think about 25% of them have left. I don't have the physical numbers, but that tells you that if you have 100 specialists and you are having 25 of them leave the system, and these are people who are well trained, and they could even be in the system to train even more people. And for the junior colleagues, they are living in droves. So we have to keep on counting and counting. It's something that is occurring on a daily basis.
We're grateful. We'll leave that here for now. That's the staggering figures there put out by the Ghana Medical Association. That's the president, Dr. Frank Sribo. Well, they raised the issue at the annual general meeting of the Society of Private Medical and Dental Practitioners. We'll stay a while longer on the health front, and the Narcotics Control Commission is distraught over the growing abuse of what we call laughing gas. The chemical compound is legitimately used for medical, commercial, and industrial purposes, but its sweet scent and taste has seen many individuals, especially the youth, relish the happy moments it brings. There's more in this report.
As a chemical originally intended for good, nitrous oxide has become the new drug craze. Many use disguised means, including discharging the gas into special balloons before inhaling it. Speaking on Love FM, Ashanti Regional Director of the Narcotics Control Commission, Samuel Yeboah, expressed worry over the ballooning abuse of the chemical compound.
People are making money out of these drugs. You know, previously it was the people working in hospitals, it was the medical students or whatever who were coming into contact with some of these drugs. Were even abused, just like if you go to the hospital, people abuse Pitidin and others. They were also abusing them secretly.
The chemical works by triggering the human hormone dopamine that thrusts the user into a ballistic mood. However, studies have found the chemical to have harmful effects on the heart and brain upon long exposure.
They can give you heart attack. Or continuous use, you develop anemia. Okay. They also cause nerve damage.
Although legal in the country, Mr. Yeboah believes measures should be instituted to contain the abuse of the chemical.
Control these substances fall under the purview of Food and Drugs Authority. I think that as early as possible, they need to come out with some regulation on the use of these substances.
Joy News. My name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Now, the Bono East Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adumako Boateng, has admonished the general public to endeavour towards knowing their hepatitis status to help prevent transmission amongst the populace and facilitate timely treatment. Anas Sabit has more from this report.
In Ghana, hepatitis B and C virus infection remains a major public health threat, as in many parts of the world, and even with an effective vaccine, there are still shortfalls with low vaccine coverage amongst adults. To help create awareness as well as encourage vaccination amongst the populace, the Bono East Regional Directorate of Health Services is urging the general public to endeavour towards knowing their statuses, which is key towards attaining prevalence levels and provide the needed clinical support.
Apologies there. I'm told you could not hear that sound, even though I could hear it in the studios. But let's take a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, also on myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions. We're live on X Spaces and on Facebook. The Midday News is proudly supported by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. We've been hearing from the embassy, the American embassy here in Accra, telling us about the number of Ghanaians seeking to enter the U.S. shooting up by 300%, outstripping available resources to process visa applications speedily. Also from the Ghana Medical Association, describing as alarming the increasing number of practitioners, especially specialists, leaving the country, as they say, well experienced of them are leaving due to the economic conditions in the country. Return from the break, we have sports, and then Trade Ministry discloses lease process for a 20-year lease of Commander Sugar Factory to Indian company is almost completed in a major move to revive operations after an 8-year redundancy.
I think the provisional feedback I'm getting from them is that they are happy with the maintenance government, MEP government is put into this place. I suspect that anytime within the next few days, they will come to my office for us to put our signatures.
This is what the Olympics is all about.
Get closer to split-second wins. Closer to history in the making. Closer to your champions.
The greatest athletic achievements of all time.
Get DSTV to get closer to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games from 26 July to 11 August with 9 dedicated channels for the best coverage of every medal and every podium moment. On Supersport on DSTV, your home of entertainment.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah.
Doctors,
nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers.
Go.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah.
Doctors,
nurses,
barbers,
drivers,
bouncers,
friends,
teachers,
bankers. The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Mubarak.
Yes, Emefa. So Rosie Apawu becomes the second Ghanaian athlete to exit the ongoing Paris Olympics after swimmer Harry Stacey. She was unsuccessful in her attempt to clear the bar at 1.92 meters. Fento Tahiru Fento watched the event and reports.
She came in here and started at 1.83 meters. It took her 3 attempts to clear that. Then at 1.88, it took her another 3 attempts to clear that particular one. At 1.92, it proved a little too much for her, and she couldn't clear that. Obviously, the automatic qualifying mark for the final of the women's high jump was 1.97, but the women didn't even need to get that far, and so the ranking was used. And if you did the count back on the ranking, Rosie Apawu ranked 14. Whereas only the top 12 could go straight to the final. So unfortunately, she didn't make the final at her very first time of asking at the Olympic Games.
Yes, Emefa. So tomorrow, Giselle Mensah will participate in the women's 50-meter freestyle, and in the track and field, Azamati and Abdul Rashid will feature in the men's 100 meters heat as well. There'll be more analysis on game plan at 1:15.
We have hope in them. They will definitely make us proud. Now, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has announced that lease of the Commander Sugar Factory to an Indian company for a 20-year period is almost complete. The Minister, Katie Hammond, says the move aims to revitalize the factory, infuse it with much-needed investment and revive operations. The Minister led a team to the factory yesterday to witness a test run of its equipment to assess its viability for the Indian company, West African Agro Limited. Here are excerpts of his interview after a tour of the facility.
We haven't dotted the I's and crossed the T's. I think it was agreed that to be able to cross the T's, dot the I's, and eventually put the signatures, we must be clear about the sanctity of this whole edifice. There's no point signing a contract, committing them to sink in so much millions money when the stability of the system itself is not so clear. So I think the provisional feedback I'm getting from them is that they are happy with the maintenance government, MEP government is put into this place. They are quite happy. They will be able to run it. So I suspect that anytime within the next few days, they will come to my office for us to put our signatures to the document.
That's the Minister of Trade, Katie Hammond. He'll be back in comment. Some residents have been reacting to the news. There's been mixed reactions. Some are happy about the move. All others are skeptical of an Indian company taking over. They spoke in Fanti.
The move there is a step in the right direction. Now, obisuwa won't to monfe yujuma with mama obinum to my managina yujuma wabamani anka oye uzande Midday in the first degree we school still menya na if Indian for obutumu aba wabamani amisude me yujuma ya it will be better.
What's the sugar factory what my Indian former by management odo oyemum by Ghana new shad now Ghana funding by them pay friend but India for will take a decision now and find out.
Oh yeah no one fine yejuma osiwanu da moto na muodi mu agro na wu ye ya na wu nya mu akwenya be ya wu da akomo bi 15 years na wu panyin na wu di anim no adwon papa be na wo trim.
So some residents of Commander there expressing, some saying it is a good move to hand the company over to the Indian company, that's the Commander Sugar Factory, to take over. Others are also concerned about this particular deal and what the details will actually entail. But let's stay a while longer in the Central Region, and members of the University of Cape Coast Governing Council are urging their chairman, Professor Harold Amono Kofi, to withdraw his letter terminating Vice-Chancellor Professor Johnson Nyako Boama's appointment. The letter, which nullified an extension of Professor Boampon's term, despite his tenure ending on July 31, 2024, has faced significant backlash from various university quarters. In an interview on Newsnight, President of UCC UTAG branch, Dr. Jerry Opoku-Ansah, called for an immediate reversal of the decision.
Our council chairman will retract this letter so that council can meet, and then if there's anything, we can take a decision as a council. And so it's our hope that he will do the needful and retract the letter. If he does not, UTAG will have a meeting and then we'll communicate to the public.
Now, Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has given the strongest indication yet of how the judiciary under her leadership is aggressively pursuing and digitizing its operations in a bid to end the canker of land litigation across the country.
What I was going to say, in addition to what Mr. Nustifafa has said, was that we've actually put together a committee of judges and experts, land surveyors, quantity surveyors. It's a whole group. They've been very kind to us. They've been working with us, and we are looking at the question of land litigation.
And that's her ladyship, Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, in an interaction with the Judicial Press Corps at the court complex a few moments ago. And it's time to hit social media. It's a Friday. We're getting ready for the weekend. What are people talking about? MNJ, Shola, and Jackie.
Yeah. Well, Emefa, so...
You want to go to America first? Let me ask you.
I'm on my way. But you know the reason why... A lot of people want to jack, but you know, because of the whole... The economy, you know, because of the price of yam, we talked about it some days ago. 60 cities is a lot.
Stay in this country and build your country.
Please, I'll stay.
Stay in this country and build the country.
Citizen, so Ghana all the way.
Hey, Shola,
I hold you to leave
What else are people saying?
All right, so Emefa, hashtag end bad governance still trending. But well, this is trending alongside Burna Boy after he made a post on X saying that the fight in him died during the End SARS protest in 2020. And you know, in 2020 some protesters declined to play his song. So right now he's telling Nigerians that this one, they fight your own fight. That's what he's... So people are blasting like a whole... You know how Nigerians can be on social media. So he's trending this month. They are cooking him left, right, center.
Well, to someone that they are not roasting. And today is Gamache's birthday. And everybody's excited. So Gamache, wherever you are, happy birthday from us to you.
You can speak, huh?
Few. Yeah.
Well, MF, apart from that, quickly, P-Square is also trending. You know, they've split up again after they came back in 2021. They are over. That was according to the brother. He says that his other brother, Peter, says that his other brother actually got him arrested by this EFCC for a whole lot of reasons. So they are trending on social media too.
Yep. And then we end with Cardi B, who says that she's divorcing Offset for the 18th time. So we're hoping that this time she follows through.
Oh, we're hoping she doesn't, actually.
Well, that's what social media is saying.
Yeah, with P-Square. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more.